Architectural Outcast.
Randy here from the Architectural Outcast. I'd like to talk to you all about curiosity, or sadly, the complete lack of curiosity. There are all too many people today who are convinced that they are so right, the way they think, their worldview, their politics, that they don't even need to question it anymore. This has led to a complete lack of curiosity about other people. I mean, why try to figure out how other people think, their worldviews, and why they do the things they do when you're going to force them to think the way you do anyhow? This basic lack of curiosity about others extends to people from cultures all over the world. It's rather ironic that the very people claiming to speak for marginalized voices don't have even the most basic knowledge about people from the cultures that they claim to be speaking for. The lack of curiosity about other people and other cultures comes from a place of cultural chauvinism. The belief that Western culture is arbitrarily superior. The only way marginalized voices can gain legitimacy is through participating in Western culture. And the only way marginalized people can participate in Western culture is if those who claim to have the right to speak for them allow it. Having curiosity leads to us seeking out knowledge. Once we gain knowledge, that leads to understanding. And once we have an understanding, that can lead to human connections. This is where we get the most important line in the movie Big Trouble in Little China. Jack Burton tells Wang, "Racial differences aside, I thought we were just a couple of old friends hanging out having a good time." Big Trouble in Little China is all about curiosity. It's a curious film. For starters, it's an old-fashioned Western, and it has all the Western tropes. A rancher's daughter is kidnapped by bandits. A local cowboy, along with a mysterious stranger, set off to rescue her. Along the way, they're helped out by a beautiful and smart schoolmarm, a religious leader, and a posse. This particular Western just so happens to be set in 1980s San Francisco and explores Chinese mythology. The movie introduces the audience to a lesser-known and oftentimes secretive American subculture, the Chinese community on the West Coast. The story is told from the perspective of Jack Burton, who, like most of the audience, is an outsider and doesn't know much about Chinese mysticism. Two of the most common things he says throughout the movie is, "I don't understand," and "What in the heck is going on here?" After the first time I saw Big Trouble in Little China, I had questions. Did what I just see have anything to do with Chinese mysticism, or was it just another one of John Carpenter's fever dreams? At the time, my 15-year-old self knew a grand total of one Chinese person, one of my grandmother's best friends, Mrs. D. And the next time we happened to be at my grandmother's house and Mrs. D happened to be there, I started asking her questions about Chinese mysticism. Now, I didn't tell her that the questions were coming from Big Trouble in Little China. Now, in all honesty, I doubt if she even would have known who John Carpenter was. Mrs. D was thrilled that an American teenager, of all things, was interested in Chinese culture. We talked for hours, and every time I saw her after that, she was constantly giving me books, movies, whatever, about Chinese culture. And then every time my family came up to visit my grandmother, she insisted on taking all of us out for authentic Chinese food. You know, those restaurants that don't have a menu in English? And then something fascinating happened. Mrs. D and her husband started to come down regularly to spend time on my family's farm. My family had shown curiosity towards her and her culture, causing her to become curious about us and our culture. And it wasn't long before Mrs. D and her husband decided they really enjoyed rural American farm life. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like to think, consider subscribing to the Architectural Outcast. If you hang around here long enough, you might find that you have this overwhelming urge to type into the comments about how I don't know what I'm talking about. But at least I'll have gotten you to think. There's been a lot made about how the real hero of the story is Wang, and Jack Burton is just a sidekick. Well, sort of. Y'all do realize there can be two main characters, two protagonists in a story, right? Wang is your typical Western hero, a local, young, courageous cowboy rushing off to save the damsel in distress, fighting to protect his town from outlaws and bandits. Now old Jack Burton, on the other hand, he's your classic mysterious stranger. We don't know much about his background. All we know for sure, he drives a truck. He claims that he's been married multiple times and that he's from California. But he's such an unreliable narrator, fancy terms for blowhard, we can't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. We don't even know if that's true. Once Jack arrives in town, he's drawn into the local problems. Reluctantly, in Jack's case, very reluctantly, and against his better judgment, he ends up helping Wang rescue the rancher's daughter and saving the town. Once all the excitement dies down, he kisses the pretty and smart schoolmarm and then rides off into the sunset. It's just that Jack is such a goof about everything. Gracie Law, the pretty and smart schoolmarm, starts to take an interest in Jack. And while they're trying to escape the gangsters by swimming through the tunnels, she does rub her body up against him, trying to get his attention. Now, most normal guys, when they encounter a situation like this, would realize what's going on and say something like, "Hey, after all this is over, would you be interested in going out to dinner, maybe catching a movie?" Does Jack do this? Oh no, he shouts, "Stop rubbing your body up against me. It makes it hard for me to concentrate," thoroughly pissing off the smart and pretty schoolmarm. As a traditional Western hero, Wang is the one who advances the story. He's the insider who knows what's going on. He knows what they have to do to defeat the baddies. And it's through his conversations with Jack that he lets the audience know what's going on. As important as Wang is to the story, as I said, everything goes through him. Jack is a close second. Eggshin, Wang, and company would not have succeeded without Jack's help. And I say that completely ignoring Jack killing Lo Pan. Big Trouble in Little China is a story about friendship and loyalty. Wang is a good man, willing to charge the gates of hell, in this case literally, to save his girl, to save his town. Jack, on the other hand, has no stake in this fight. His one excuse, his stolen truck, he gets back partway through the story. He could leave at any point after that. He doesn't. He stays to the end. Why? His friendship with Wang. At the beginning of the movie, when Jack and Wang are gambling and Wang pulls out the machete, there's suddenly tension. And we as the audience don't understand what's going on yet. But then once they agree to the terms of the bet, everything changes. And we realize these are two very good friends busting each other's chops. And then we see the banter and interaction throughout the rest of the movie. There's a history between these two. A history so deep, they're willing to risk their lives for each other. I go back to one of the very first lines that Jack Burton speaks. Racial differences aside, I thought we were just a bunch of friends hanging out, having a good time. Friendship trumps everything else. In this age of identity politics and dividing people based upon immutable traits, as far as I'm concerned, you can take all that and stick it where the sun don't shine. I will decide who I will and won't be friends with. And if you don't like who I'm friends with because of some immutable trait, y'all know where the sun don't shine. One of my all-time favorite baddie getting his comeuppance moment is the death of Lo Pan. The movie is a brilliant example of premise, anticipation, payoff. Going back to the gambling scene at the beginning of the movie, it's established that Jack Burton has superhuman reflexes. We're reminded of this occasionally throughout the movie. It's all in the reflexes. During the final confrontation, Jack pulls his knife and throws it at Lo Pan. Lo Pan blocks it. Jack, and by extension everybody else, are now at Lo Pan's mercy. If Lopan uses his magic, game over. He wins. Lopan is such an arrogant prick, though. He wanted to humiliate Jack by killing him with his own weapon. The first time I saw Big Trouble in Little China, when Lopan picked up that knife and it was clear what he intended, the whole room went, ooh. Everybody knew what was coming. And when Jack caught the knife and threw it back, the entire room went, yeah. Oh, man, when Hollywood was still good. I wish Hollywood was still making movies like Big Trouble in Little China. Movies that inspired curiosity, made us want to know more about the subject matter of the movie, made us want to know more about other people. In the meantime, though, we still have the wise words of Jack Burton. If somebody ever asks you, have you paid your dues? You look them square in the eye and you say, yes, sir, I've paid my dues. The check's in the mail. At any rate, I hope I've given you all something to think about. And until next time, y'all be safe. If y'all are still here, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. While you're at it, why don't you like this video, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell. You can hear me yammer on about something else next time. And feel free to share this video far and wide.
Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment.